Hi folks, welcome to or welcome back to Exposed, and if I'm welcoming you back and you like it here, I'd love it if you subbed and stayed. Just to let everyone know that's waiting for the Lisa video, I've done the Lisa video and they've decided that it's not suitable for monetization. So I've clicked the thing to get it reviewed. I hardly even swore in that one, so it's got nothing to do with the swearing because I swore like a trooper in one of them and they were fine. So I don't know what I've said in that they didn't like. They don't like the FAT word. You're not allowed to say that. You're not allowed to use the sounds like a cushion casino game thing. They don't like that either. I'm going to have to write a thing with letters beside it. I remember when Paige did that, she had to write a whole thing with S's and P's and unalived and all the nonsense that they don't like you saying. And it's like, really, this is stupid. There's a kids section. There's a 4 kids section. I click my videos as not made for kids. If they wander over here and start watching rubbish that they shouldn't, that's on their parents. It's got nothing to do with me. But every normal person's being penalised and we're not allowed to say boo. It's ridiculous. And now I've even forgotten what video it was I was supposed to be doing. Oh, it's her, isn't it? We're back to this. This is where she's going on about she wants to get a reborn doll. She had her dolls that she troops around everywhere. That made me think when I was going to sleep. You know how things pop into your head when you're going to sleep? I don't like Hazarai or whatever it is she says. She doesn't like stuff. Yet she's got a bag of dolls that she carries from home to home. Why? She doesn't like crap. Anywho, she was going on about what they did to the doll. Ooh. Maybe I should skip that bit. Maybe they don't like that. See? Back of my head now the entire time it's like, oh, am I allowed to say that? Should I say that? What did she just say? It's ridiculous. Absolute madness. And then if you put for adults only, they expect it to be really raunchy and racy, and so you get no advertisers at all unless Adam and Eve sponsor you. It's a pain in the hole is what it is. Right. I think I'm going to skip that bit. Let her go and get the bag. Because she said that they broke a part of the doll's anatomy and then she laughed. I'm sure you remember. It was in the last one.
Okay. Here we go. There's not that many. I had to whittle it down after moving. So yeah, I'm wearing shorts. Okay. Please don't let there be any bugs in here. Please, I don't want to find a roach. I think these were the outside container. Okay. This was my very first doll ever. Her name, I remember, it was Beth.
Because your friend called her doll Beth.
Betty. Wait. It might have been Betty. Or was it Beth? Would I have named it myself? No. Hey, you're a mess. I think her name was Betty. I have 2 dolls that are Betty. She's made out of foam and then she's got wire in her arm and then plastic hands. And then she came in this so you can see her sponge. I loved her so much. Hi, Betty. And she has eyes, clothes, and she lies down. Look at the hair. It's like an old lady's hair.
Looks a lot like you.
No, she's foam.
Does she not, people?
Now it's colored foam. I'm afraid she's going to disintegrate. She's 57 years old. Foam that was not that color. God, she She's lived in New York. I remember having her in my house in Long Island.
My house.
She has wire feet, so this was never to come off. I think her name was Beth. Look at her eye got all screwed up.
Because you would name her after you, because that's the type of person you are.
So this was my first doll. And then I got Goody two shoes. So this is her head, and I called her Goody.
That took a lot of brain power, didn't it?
But her body just recently broke, so she could walk. You put batteries in the back. Goody. She wasn't much shorter than I was when I got her. She has pads on the bottom of her feet, and she would walk. Ow, Jesus! She'd go. She'd walk like that. I remember opening up the back, 2 double D batteries. She had an on and an off.
And is she going in the bin now that she's in bits? It would make sense. Someone was talking about, Cass from Clutterbug was talking about different types of hoarding that people do, and there's guilt hoarding. And I used to be the world's worst for that. Like keeping everything the kids ever made or drew or whatever, and it was like, so Madam drew like no tomorrow. So if I was to keep everything she'd drawn for me, it'd fill this room. So what I did in the end was I took photographs of things, and it's like I've got photographs now, so I can go through all of her artwork and see all the stuff she did from when she was tiddly to now, and it's not taking up any room, and it's backed up on I've got one that's just for photographs, like a hard drive thing, and they're all on there. Isn't it about time, Lardy, you just took a picture, like sat it so the head stayed on, take a picture and bin it? It's well past its best, isn't it?
Did she? I'm gonna throw it away.
Good.
I'm not keeping this. The batteries leaked, I remember that. Yeah, I'm not keeping this one.
Batteries will leak if you leave them in things. You have to take them out when it's not in use.
But she was... Remember, I loved her feet. Goody has a cute face. I'm not keeping her. Okay. Before I show you 2 other dolls. Okay, wait. I'm going to show you. This is my Heidi doll. Oh, look at my high school tassel. My Heidi doll that when you press the button in her stomach, her arm went out. She said hi. She came, I got her for Christmas when I was 6. She came in a little red container and she was in the front. Look at the button. And you go, Heidi. Do you guys remember Heidi? And I think this is why I can never be a hairdresser. I think I cut dolls' hair thinking it would grow back. Now this one I didn't.
That's what she said in another video once. I was 7 and I cut my doll's hair thinking it'd grow back. At 7! What in the hell? At 7! At 7 I was hand washing and drying my own clothes and ironing. I sure as hell knew that dolls' hair didn't grow back. They were dolls. But she had such a horrible childhood, you guys. It was terrible.
Oh my God, look at this little dress.
Heidi's cute. I like Heidi.
Okay, then, wait, then I found this in an antique store. I was like probably 14, and I got it because I thought it was old. A little Dutch doll. Now, before I show you my real baby, that was my baby forever, and a long story about her. Bella, stop that! This was my grandfather's doll.
Got the weirdest bottom half, hasn't it?
She's a plastic face.
So, most dolls did back in the day.
My grandfather's doll.
Oh, here we go. She's going to start with the guilt trip again.
I'm not giving any of this junk to my grandchildren. This is crap. Dirty. Bleh. Can you believe this was my grandfather, Harry? His doll. I love this doll. Okay, here comes Betty. Oh, Betty, you're very dirty. Okay.
Betty, probably because her best friend had a doll and she called it Betty, so she copied her. Or Betty, as it was close to Beth, one of the two. And which ones did you not stick the things in their eyes? I daren't say it or I'll get demonetised for that as well.
This is baby Tender Love.
With no hair.
And when I got her, I gave her a trim, not realizing that it wouldn't grow back. So she was like that forever.
Go on, say how old you were when you gave her a trim. Because you told this story before. Why are you leaving the age out now?
And her name is Betty. This was a little dress. Okay, so this is how her skin is supposed to look. But she got like freckles, we called them at the time. She's just spongy. Okay, so I remember I used to have her go when she would try to sit. Like that. My friend Amy had one too. Her name was Jennifer. So Amy and I took Betty and Jennifer. So Amy I wanted a baby Tender Love, and Amy got hers first. And
then you kicked off such a stink that your mum had to go out that day and get it, or face the wrath of Laurie. But you had such a terrible childhood, people.
And named it Jennifer, and I was...
Oh, that's what I meant to put in here. You've just reminded me. Where are we? Give me a second. This is what I meant to put in at the start and I forgot. See these pictures? My grandmother's engagement ring. First fits but swollen fingers in the morning. That's why she had the big smile on her face. Money and diamonds will always make Lardy smile. Sad really, isn't it? Let me just check that you're with me. You are. Right, we shall carry on.
It's like, I want a baby Tender Love. I want a baby Tender Love, because I used to take her baby Tender Love and I used to scratch her eyes and she'd get all upset with me. So my parents finally got me baby Tender Love. Now, Amy was pissed off big time because I flat out copied her. I also copied her with the Cool Cat Club because I was not invited to the Cool Cat Club. So I said, okay, well, I'll make my own. It's the Cool Cat Club. And she was like, you can't have that. It's mine. I'm like, no. Well, I'm doing it. Like, I didn't see anything wrong with it.
Yes, because you're a narc. That's why. Of course you wouldn't see anything wrong with it.
So Betty used to weigh a lot because I would give her a bath and she has these holes in the back of her head to drain, but she didn't drain. So this doll weighed a ton. Now, so Amy and I would go around. We had all different clothes for Betty and Jennifer, and we would even pretend when we were at camp that they came. We're like, look, it's Betty and Jennifer. And they would come, and okay, so they called us Nunny instead of Mummy. And
she remembers all this. Does this not frighten you?
they didn't have cute little doll voices. She talked like this. Something like that. Hi, Nani. Hi, Jennifer. And my father made fun of it all the time. Hi, I'm the He used to say, hi, I'm the... And I'd say, Daddy.
I'm gonna have that many cuts in this video because of her, and she can't not say things that you're not supposed to say.
Stop it. And my mother would get upset. They didn't understand why my doll didn't have a nice... Neither one of us, our dolls did not have nice, sweet voice, baby doll voices. 1981. Go Pats. And my father would never let up on it. It was so terrible when you think about it. And they'd say, my parents would say, why does she talk like that? And I'd say, I don't know, that's her voice. And then sometimes Betty and Jennifer would ask us the dreaded question, where's my daddy? But they didn't say, Nani, where's my daddy? And Amy and I would go, oh my God, they're asking that question again. I don't remember the answer. So when I first got her, I was like 7 or 8.
Right, see? 7 or 8. And she cut her hair thinking it would grow back.
And I played with her like a baby doll, you know. And then she had a little crib next to my bed. Didn't have a stroller, but a crib next to my bed. And then, like I remember I would go like that, and she'd be, or I think I even stuck a pin in her once just to.
Yeah, there we go. Did you hear that? That's one of the lines she uses when she's saying about something else. Oh, isn't it when she got the reborn? Oh, I won't do that. I won't. In the reborn's eyes. Who says that? Twisted weirdo.
And it hurt my heart, but I don't know why. I think she's a hole too, so she must have had like a little bottle. And I used to do her. Okay, so wait. When I first got her, she was a baby doll, and then I kind of lost interest, I think, when I was a little bit older, and then got back really into her because I was like knitting and I learned how to sew and stuff. So I had fun doing her hair and making her clothes. I wonder what would happen to her hair if I washed it and made it. And then she got these like black speckles. Oh, and then we'd make her walk like this. We think they're so funny. Oh, she'd walk like this. Look at the legs. Can you see the legs? Look how cute. Oh my God. Look at the little like arched foot. Oh. This is making me sad. She's a little bum. She's a little bum. And a hole. And this is how I'd want my doll these days. I don't want anything there. I would never get a boy because it would come uncircumcised, and I don't want the dingle dangle thing.
Really? You didn't want a boy doll? How did you know what circumcision was? Really? It's an automatic thing in America, isn't it, for every man? It's not in the UK. It's just devout Jews that do that now. But why would you know that? You knew that? Right, here we go. She knew that, but she didn't know that if you cut a doll's hair, it wouldn't grow back. No. Something not right with this woman.
And I don't want a girl. I don't need a slit. I just want a nothing. I want one doll, I think, that looks real, that I can cuddle, like a cuddler.
Oh, right, she's talking about now. Sorry, about the reborn doll. If all you wanted to do was cuddle them, why aren't you still cuddling them? That's not why you wanted it. You wanted it so you'd go viral. That's what you want. That's what you're always chasing, is a viral video.
And then I look at this. And I say, I have a doll. I have a little Jolly. And I brushed her.
There's a
and
first.
She slept with me last night. And she's like a real baby doll. She's just a doggy doll. Mwah. We have to clip that part there. It's in your face. We have to clip. Oh, Mommy brushed your fur real nice. And we clipped things. We clipped everywhere, made a nice little lammy dog. I don't have, they're $300.
And I don't have it. Someone give me the $300.
I don't have that right now.
So, a subscriber very generously sent you a doll with a whole box of extras, and you ruined it and you laughed.
I need tires for my car. I mean, what do I need a doll for, really? If it wasn't expensive, maybe, but yeah, this is Beth. That was it. Her name was Beth. I don't want a toy doll. I want a realistic one. I have no desire to have a toy doll. The reason I'd want a realistic one is to hold and feel like it's real and cuddle with it. Look, I can make it because she's articulated. Oh, she's grabbing. She likes gold. Jesus, she's probably possessed. So, anyways, these are my dolls. Back into the bag they go.
Why?
What is this? Oh, wow. This was on my bike. Lori, USA 76. It was hard to find an LORI back in the day in Boston.
Of course it would be.
This was when I rode my bike. I was a big bike rider. I had the banana seat and everything. It was waiting for me on a Christmas morning. Even though I'm Jewish, we celebrated Christmas and Hanukkah.
Spoiled then.
Because, you know, everybody gets Santa.
Right, so you celebrated Hanukkah and Christmas when you were little, but now when someone wishes you a Merry Christmas, you scream, I'm Jewish at them.
Celebrated Christmas too, and Hanukkah.
You haven't put the lorry back in the bag. Slamming it on the floor is not going to do anything for Beth's head, is it?
I've never been, like, Burke has stuffed animals. He was a stuffed animal hoarder. I feel like my air conditioning is not working. I'm eating the other egg roll. Whole package of egg rolls.
That was never in doubt, was it? We always knew you were going to eat the whole pack.
That. I had all my yearbooks until recently.
They'd be something I'd keep. Because, see, we don't do them here. You'd have everyone that you were in class with ever and their name, so you'd never forget anyone. So now she could go back in her yearbooks and look people up on Facebook or whatever and maybe find them. The only things I've got from school is the last day of secondary school. I took in a camera and took pictures of everybody, and I've got that in an album. I've actually got it on here. I uploaded them on here. Anywho, I've got pictures, and I think in the album I wrote names underneath, but there's only a few people's names I can remember. And it's like, I'd love to get in touch with some of them, but I don't know who they are anymore. And then now, of course, people have got mobile phones. They take each other's Instagram, email, Facebook, whatever, and they've always got them in their phone, which is great. So you always know. It's like I said to Madam when she was finishing college. I said to her, make sure and get everybody's name and email or something, so you can get in contact. I don't want to get in contact with anyone. And it's like, yeah, but it'd be nice. Somewhere down the line you might think, oh, I'd love to go for a coffee with. No, I won't. So she never did. My husband's got a bit of a better memory about people he went to school with. And my son's like my daughter. He's not interested. He's made friends. He made friends at college, was more his thing, and he's still friends with them. But it'd be great to have it, wouldn't it? I would have kept the yearbooks rather than the dolls, but that's just me. I might stick a few pictures of me in school at the end, if I can find them.
I'm still on live. I love you.
How often does she say that? She's only saying it now because she's being maudlin.
He had 4 bags. And through the years, he had to donate. And I have 1 bag left. And it was very hard for him because he associates everything with a memory.
So do you.
And then also when he wasn't looking, I would donate some, and then all of a sudden, I would donate some that he hadn't used or seen or talked about. Some of Burke's stuffed animals, and he'd all of a sudden say, "Where's that pink dog that I got at Great Grandma's?" And I'd literally have to go and find it on eBay and repurchase it because he'd have a fit.
Which is why you shouldn't throw their stuff away without asking them. You sit down and you say, because Santa's bringing new things, we need to get rid of some of the old things. So let's go through the stuff you're not playing with. Do you want this? Yes or no? Simple.
Oh. Burke was not an easy kid.
Oh, and I bet you were a fucking joy.
I threw away all my yearbooks.
Why does that make Burke a hard kid? Because he wants his toys. And he was obviously happy at Great Grandma's. That's why he liked keeping it. Keep your mouth closed.
Wow. Sandra, that's amazing. I don't like keeping stuff anymore. So I don't collect anything. And if I get a new nail polish, I have to throw one away. And I only have 4 dishes. They were $1 at the dollar store. 4 clear, 4 bowls, plain bowls, and 4 decorative bowls. I think you can collect things when you don't move a lot, or when you have somebody to help you move, or when you're living like in a normal size apartment with the amount of people.
Or when you have someone to help you move. You've always had someone to help you move. You had movers that moved you from the Boston apartment to the second Boston apartment. Then your mother paid for everything to be shipped to California. Burke and Gungar helped you move. Oh, you cried and whinged and whined until a subscriber helped you move from the 2-bed to the 1-bed. That you could have done yourself. You and Burke could have done that with 2 cars, minutes apart. Anyway, and then Gungar and Burke drove you from California to Arizona, and then from this apartment you're in now to the next apartment you had movers. Tell me when you never had help.
But when I had to move from I moved from Newton, like a 1,500 square foot apartment to a 700 square foot. So I sold a ton of stuff. Then I moved from the 700 square foot back to a 2-bedroom, almost 2,000 square foot, up and down, and my place was empty. And then when I had to move from there, to a 1-bedroom with my son. Okay, Rachel. I gave away things because I didn't want to be in the small 1-bedroom new apartment and it be totally overwhelming and crowded. So I put in an ad for things for free, just for people to take. And one of them was my grandmother's a wooden cabinet. I remember crying, and the guy was like, "It's going to a good home." And so since then, I've sort of learned to distance myself from, like, no one can ever take away the memories. They're just things. And I don't want to have a lot of things.
So bin the dolls.
It stresses me out. Rachel.
That's another thing she does. So rude. She's talking privately with Rachel on her phone. Why can't you wait until after the video to do that? No.
No, my son, too smart. Way too smart. He'd be like, "Well, where is it?" And I know I tried to say something like, "Oh, it had mold on it," because that's what my mother said when she threw away all of my Marblehead Monsters, which was a company my father and his second wife created. Marblehead Monsters, they were like these dolls, stuffed animals.
Thank you. If I move at all, the slightest twitch on this stupid lead and everything goes haywire.
100 square foot, back to a 2-bedroom, almost 2,000 square foot, up and down, and my place was empty. And then when I had to move from there, I didn't to a 1-bedroom with my son. Okay, Rachel. I gave away things because I didn't want to be in the small 1-bedroom new apartment and it be totally overwhelming and crowded. So I put in an ad for things for free, just for people to take. And one of them was my grandmother's a wooden cabinet. I remember crying, and the guy was like, "It's going to a good home." And so since then, I've sort of learned to distance myself from, like, no one can ever take away the memories. They're just things. And I don't want to have a lot of things. It stresses me out. Rachel. No, my son, too smart. Way too smart. He'd be like, "Well, where is it?" And I said, I know I tried to say something like, "Oh, it had mold on it," because that's what my mother said when she threw away all of my Marblehead Monsters, which was a company my father and his second wife created. Marblehead Monsters, they were like these dolls, stuffed animals that looked like monsters. I remember I helped make them, stuffing them, and things like that. And my mother said, I said, "Where are all the Marblehead Monsters? Where's all my stuff?" Because we had these built-in benches in the playroom downstairs where all my toys were, and everything was gone. She's like, "Oh, it got moldy." Now I don't even believe that it got moldy. I think that was bullshit. I think she threw it away because it was one of my father's wives. I mean, if you think about it, let's see, I got married to my first husband in 1985, and my father's third wife was not allowed to come to the wedding because of my mother.
You think that's weird? That's not weird. And to be fair, your father's third wife really had no connection to you. And if your mum was paying for the wedding, which you said she did, then she had every right to have a say-so on who went and who didn't. Why would she want to be there watching your father with another woman? She obviously still loved him. Anyone else? Am I wrong? It's not like you and his third wife were best buddies. It's your wedding, as long as your mum and dad are there. What? Really? Is it just me?
Maybe they weren't married yet, just fiancé. He wasn't allowed, and he couldn't feed himself or walk. He was in a mobile chair.
Oh, that makes it a bit different.
She wasn't allowed to come to the wedding.
Oh, it's hardly like it was a big deal. You got divorced within the year, so...
And there was nothing I could do about it because my mother was paying for the wedding, so it was the way that it was going to be. She's paying. She was not going to walk down the aisle alone or with my uncle. She walked down with my uncle or by herself. I don't remember because I didn't get walked down. I didn't want to get... My grandfather walked me down the aisle.
What's the truth? I didn't because I didn't want... Oh, hang on, my grandfather... She was on her... Was she on her own? These are things you remember, especially if you're telling the truth.
She was not going to be there because she didn't have a guy or a boyfriend. But that was my father's third wife. So she my mother should have been used to it. He had left her, then he married someone else, then they got divorced, and he was going to be marrying this other woman who he did, and she eventually died before him. My mother wouldn't let her come, and he still came.
Because he's your father.
God. It wasn't my day. It was my mother being able to give her daughter a wedding. And even with that, I'll tell you the story. So my in-laws were more religious than I was. No. My first husband is just American Jewish. My second husband is not Middle Eastern, he's Turkish. My second ex-husband, Burke's father, is Turkish, not Middle Eastern. So my in-laws were like, nobody's going to come from our side of the family because it's not kosher. And so they decided to throw me and my husband at the time a traditional reception in upstate New York after we were married, after our honeymoon. So we got married on June 9th, 1985. We went on our honeymoon right away for a week. And when we came back, we had a big reception in upstate New York with where they lifted the chairs and they announced us and all of that and dancing. And my mother and my grandparents were late because they got lost. So they weren't there for any of that. They got there like in time to eat or something ridiculous. And I was so upset that I got really drunk. All my friends were there, Marge, Roberta, Rachel, they all came from Boston. Rachel was there, even sick. She had a fever. And Marjorie and all of them brought dates. And we had a head table. It was a traditional thing. And everybody made it there in time, but not my mother, who was driving with my grandparents. See, that was a dig. That's probably why my in-laws hated her. They hated her from the beginning. And I got drunk because, first of all, it wasn't my wedding. I had already been married at my afternoon wedding that my mother threw for us, which was beautiful. It was at the temple. Then we went to the Sonesta, overlooking the water. It was a luncheon. I had a piano player. And in lieu of a big wedding, my mother, yes, Janet, she was. My mother gave us all the furniture, like bought us all brand new furniture for our apartment, which was like,
But she's so terrible, isn't she? What are we missing?
from Levitt's Furniture, and it was very in. It was not the lounger, but it was brown material that had the double puff cushions, and then we had a mirrored coffee table so that we could just do lines right on the coffee table. We didn't have to get a mirror or anything. That coffee table. We lived in Framingham. Our apartment was on the second floor, and we paid $455 for rent. And each one of us earned $15,000. That's how much we made. I remember all of that. And the kitchen had carpeting in it.
$15,000 a month? She's always bragging about money.
And we had a waterbed. A waterbed. Oh, no, it was a motionless waterbed. Top of the line, heated. It had a core inside so that it wouldn't, you'll love it at Levitt's, so that it wouldn't float too much. But then I remember like a couple of times it stopped working and you'd wake up and it would be like, you'd be freezing. We had a motorcycle, a Yamaha Sega 55. Fava! Oh my god! Oh my god! I love Fava shoes! Oh my god, I just it's such a I can smell the store. I know exactly where it was in the Chestnut Hill Mall. I'm going crazy right now.
But yet, Burke had attachments to memories with his stuffed animals and you threw them away. He has such an attachment for memories. Look at you. You're exactly the same.
No, we made $15,000 a year each, and the apartment was $455. Oh my god, Fava was the best. I got both gold and silver stilettos there.
You wore stilettos.
I had pointy gold ones and pointy silver ones that eventually, I was like walking on a nail and you could hear it everywhere. Tink, 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 tink. And then I also got...
That's when you take them to the shop and you get them to heel them. You put new heels on.
leather patchwork shoes there, or at Thayer McNeil. I think they were patchwork shoes with the gummy sole. Ah. You'd go to the disco and then, or the club, whatever, and then you would have breakfast at Empire Deli, which is in the corner of Commonwealth Ave. And you'd have a full breakfast at like 2 a.m. Oh my goodness, when you were pregnant. No, I didn't have a baby with him. I was 22. And it was a big, big wooden, dark wood, kind of like what Shawnee still likes. Big, dark, heavy wood with headboard that had like shelves. It was so tacky. Ugh.
You have to get a dig in, don't you? Any opportunity to get a dig in.
So we had the sofa and love seat, and then we had the mirrored coffee table. Oh, Zora. So it was mirrored that way, and it was on a base, and then on the sides, it had mirrors vertical in like rose gold. It was so tacky and so 80s, and it was so great.
Am I going to have to cut that out? Honestly.